let's just get on with it so we can finish this already. The sun was already low in the western sky as they approached the town of Wall. The sun shone in their eyes, half blinding them and turning their world to saffron. The sky, the trees, the bushes, even the path itself was golden in the light of the setting sun. Madame Camille reined in her mules, and in the meadows where her stall would be, she unhitched the two mules and led them to the stream, where she hitched them to a tree. They drank deeply and eagerly. There were other market folk and visitors setting up their stalls all over the meadows, putting up tents and hanging draperies and from trees. There was an air of expectation that touched everyone and everything like a golden light of the westering sun. Madame Camille went into the inside of the caravan and unhooked the cage from its chains. She carried it out into the meadow and put it down on a hillock of grass. She opened the cage door and picked out the sleeping dormouse with bony fingers. "Out you come," she said. The dormouse rubbed its lips like eyes with its forepaws and blinked at a faded daylight. The witch reached into her apron and produced a glass daffodil. With it, she touched Tristan's head. Tristan blinked sleepily, and then he yawned. He ran a hand through his utterly browned hair and looked down at the witch with the fierce anger in his eyes. "Why, you evil old crone," he began. "Hush, you silly mouth," said Madame Camille sharply. "I got you here safely and soundly, and in the same condition I found you in. I gave you board and I gave you lodging, and if neither of them were to your liking or expectations, well, what is it to me? Now be off with you before I change you into a wiggling worm and bite off your head. If it is not your tail, go. Shoo, shoo." Tristan counted to 10 and then ungraciously walked away. He stopped a dozen yards away beside a copse and waited for the star, who limped down the side of the caravan steps and came over to him. "Are you all right?" he asked, genuinely concerned, as she approached. "Yes, thank you," said the star. "She did not ill-use me. Indeed, I did not believe that she ever knew that I was there at all. Is that not peculiar?" Madame Camille had the bird in front of her now. She touched its plumed head with her glass flower, and it flowed and shifted and became a young woman, in appearance not too much older than Tristan himself, with dark curling hair and furred cat-like ears, and darted a glance at Tristan, and there was nothing about those violet eyes that Tristan found utterly familiar, although he could not recall where he had seen them before. "So that is the bird's true form," said Yvain. "She was a good companion on the road." And then the star realized that the silver chain the bird had worn was still being worn. Now the bird had become a woman, for a glinted golden red upon her wrist and ankle, and she pointed this out to Tristan. "Yes," said Tristan, "I can see it is awful, but I'm not sure there's much that we can do about it." They walked together through the meadow towards the gap in the wall. "We shall visit my parents first," said Tristan, "for I have no doubt that they have missed me as much as I have missed them." Although, truth to tell, Tristan had scarcely given his parents a second thought on his journey. "And then we shall pay a visit to Victoria Forster," and it was this and that Tristan closed his mouth, for he could no longer reconcile his old idea in giving the star to Victoria Forrester with her current notion that the star was not a thing to be passed from hand to hand, but a true person who was, in all respects, her own woman and no kind of thing at all. But Victoria Forrester was the girl he loved. Well and all, he would burn that bridge when he reached it, he decided, and for now he would take Yvain into the village and deal with events as they came. He felt his spirits lift, and his time as a dormouse had already become nothing more than the remnants of a dream, as if the had merely taken an afternoon nap in front of the kitchen fire and was now wide awake once more. He could almost taste in his mouth the memory of Mr. Bromia's best ale, although he realized with a guilty start he had forgotten the color of Victoria Forrester's eyes. Then the sun was huge and red behind the rooftops of Wall when Tristan and Yvain crossed the meadow and looked down in the gap. The star hesitated. "Do you really want this?" she asked Tristan, "for I have misgivings." "Don't be nervous," he said, "although it is not surprising that you have nerves. My stomach feels as if I had swallowed 100 butterflies. You shall feel so much better when you're sitting in my mother's parlor drinking her tea. Well, not drinking tea, but there will be tea for you to sip. Why, I swear that the best, I swear that for much of guest and to welcome her boy back home, my mother would break out the best china," and his hand sought hers and gave it to reassuring squeeze. She looked at him and she smiled gently and ruefully. "Whither thou goest, she whispered. Hand in hand, the young man and the fallen star approached the gap in the wall. Okay, so that's the end for this chapter. I'll be reading chapter 10 soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share, comment, hit the bell for notifications. Follow me on Instagram, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye, guys.